Hello, Hey Boomer listeners. So glad to have you with us. And if you are listening for the first time, welcome to the Hey Boomer community. My name is Wendy Green, and I am the host of Hey Boomer. I met our new guest, Francine Hachem, probably late fall. And we met at a coffee shop that was right outside of the tiny home community where she lives. And when we met, a mutual friend introduced us. And I think there was a little bit of skepticism about why we were meeting. Why did she really feel like we needed to be brought together? But as we talked, we both, I think, realized there's a lot of things that we needed to talk about that would benefit the Hey Boomer community. Things around reinvention and finding your purpose and living that fulfilling life. So you will hear a lot of that as I talk with Francine. She has reinvented herself several times. She grew up in Detroit, and I'll go into her bio a little bit more, but she worked in the big three, one of the big three auto industries, and then retired and also stayed involved in theater. She always loved theater. And then in 2018, she moved to Greer, South Carolina, to this tiny home community. So we are going to explore what all of that has meant in Francine's life and how we can apply it to our lives. I wanted to share some of my never too old stories. And these stories, because Francine is a performing artist, both have to do with the performing arts. The first one is about Norman Lear. You all know Norman Lear. He has enjoyed a very long career in television and film, also in political and social activism and in philanthropy. He is now 99 years old, and he has no plans to retire. Norman Lear has written, produced, created, or developed more than 100 shows. He founded the national advocacy group People for the American Way to protect civil rights and liberties. He was labeled the #1 enemy of the American family by Jerry Falwell, and he made it onto Richard Nixon's enemies list. And then he was presented the National Medal of the Arts by President Clinton. He purchased an original copy of the Constitution and the Declaration of Independence and toured that document for 10 years around the country. And at 92, he wrote his first book, Even This I Get to Experience. That's a book I am definitely going to add to my library in my Audible book list. And my second never too old story, like I said, also focuses on one of the performing artists, and his name is Steve Martin. And Steve Martin was born in 1945, so he's a boomer, in Waco, Texas, and began his writing career on the Smothers Brothers Comedy Hour, winning him an Emmy. In 1972, he first appeared on the Johnny Carson Show, and he released his first comedy album in 1977. Many of us remember his appearances on Saturday Night Live and in movies like The Jerk and Planes, Trains, and Automobiles and Three Amigos. But he has also recently produced and acted in a comedy on Netflix called Murders in the Building. If you haven't seen it, I definitely recommend it. So at 76 years old, Steve Martin is not slowing down either. So as you will see when you meet Francine and all of you out there, we are never too old to continue to participate in life. Wanted to remind you about our Facebook group. Now, the Facebook group, this is a private group where you get to interact with people of similar mindsets, people going through similar transitions, and transitions happen at all stages in life. So you don't have to just be getting ready to retire. You know, there's transitions in relationships and transitions in work and transitions in health. And so our Facebook group, Hey Boomer, What's Next, is for those of us who want to talk to each other, share with each other, ask questions, get supported, share information, all of that. So if that's something that you think sounds like a place where you would like to be, please drop me an email at wendy@heyboomer.biz, and I will send you an invite to our Facebook group, Hey Boomer, What's Next? And now I am ready to bring on our guest, Miss Francine Hachem. Hi, Francine.
How are you, Wendy?
I am good. How are you?
I'm great. Thank you.
We're so glad to have you here with us, but I want to give them a brief overview of your history.
Can I just say one thing? I am no Steve Martin or Norman Lear.
A combination of both, probably.
Wouldn't that be nice?
But you did start acting in the second grade.
Yes, I did.
You were playing Turkey Lurkey in Chicken Little.
Right, yes.
That's a very big role.
It was a big...
But you've come a long way since
I
then.
I haven't found anything to match that yet.
But Francine has received her master's certification in acting from Willow Way Apprentice Theater under the teachings of Celia Merrill Turner.
Right.
She created West End Productions and performed in theaters in Detroit and Ann Arbor, Michigan. And before moving to South Carolina in 2018, she directed the Miss Senior Michigan pageant for 14 years. She held a board position on the Ferndale Arts Commission, the Downtown Development Authority, and she taught a youth theater summer camp. And then she decided to leave Detroit and move to a tiny home community in Greer, South Carolina. We're going to find out why. But when she got here, she joined Furman University's Osher Lifelong Learning Institute, OLLI, and created the OLLI Players, where she is now the artistic director. And she also teaches acting and performing as part of the OLLI program. She's an active member of the Greenville, South Carolina Democratic Party. And 2 years ago, pre-pandemic, she put on the Miss Senior South Carolina pageant. Wow. So you've been a busy lady.
Yeah. Yes, I have.
And you've loved theater all your life, but your dad said, no, you can't go to Hollywood and be an actress. You have to work first.
Right. Yes.
Tell us about that.
Well, I've always loved theater and I always loved acting, but my dad was like, because we're from Detroit, it's more of a, I'm not going to say a blue collar, but it is, so being in the union and working for the big three was the most important thing in my dad's life. And he figured that going to Hollywood or New York at 18 wasn't going to do it. So I got a job at Chrysler Finance and made him happy. He was really a big influence in my life. I always look for his approval. So that's probably why I stay with Chrysler Finance. And while I was there, I started right out of high school, and then they would teach you how to do the software and all this other stuff and all this, because I worked in the accounting, but it just wasn't doing it for me, So I just always stayed in theater and did both at the same time. And then I found Willow Way, which was my lifesaver, really. I found so much love for theater and people and a whole different way of life. I became really weird in the mainstream, but I was very happy. in theater. That's why I stayed there.
So Willow Way kind of helped you keep your creativity going, helped you keep your sanity, I guess.
Because I took classes there, and then all of a sudden, little by little, I started stage managing. I had to stage manage like maybe 14 shows before I even got on, so I really knew the ropes of the theater. I respect stage managers more than anything.
Mm.
And then they let me be in a show, and then I started directing a show, and it was just beautiful. And then they went out of business, which most theaters do. I know. So that's when I got West End Productions and just started doing my own shows and producing my own shows, realizing there's no money in theater. If you're going to produce a show, you're going to pay for everything, but you're not going to really get it back. But that didn't make a difference, to me. But I did end up making money in it, but that wasn't my intention. I was the happiest there, and theater people are the absolute best people.
And there was, besides West End, there was another theater group that you were part of, that 650
The
players.
650 group was a group in Rochester, Michigan. Okay, they were an over 50s group. And I stayed there for 18 years, and we did musical reviews. And so I did both West End and 650 at the same time. And then when I retired, then I could just focus on whatever I wanted to. I didn't realize how I was burning the candle at both ends.
Yeah.
Working at Chrysler doing theater. I just figured that was life. Because my friend said to me one time, Francine, there's more to life than theater and vodka and tonic. And I said, there is?
That's how I get through my days at finance. Yeah. But so you use the word retire, Francine. You were only 48 when you retired.
Yes, because I started when I was 18, and we had a union there in the office, which was good. So I got to retire. Retire at 48.
Yeah. And so after that, what did you do? 48 years old is not enough. Is too young.
That's when I started my West End Productions and just started doing theater constantly. And then I met a lot of people because I like being with like-minded people. And Jay Kaplan, who I hope is watching this right now, I don't know if he is or not. He and I started doing cabarets together. And then my best friend Linda Pickley and I did the Patsy Cline show for 20 years. And it was called Always Patsy Cline, and it was a West End production. And we got Best Musical in the City of Detroit. So, we just had really fun with that. And I was doing Patsy Cline when I was doing everything else. So I just never stopped doing what I was doing.
So you would, in finance all your career, okay, then you decide you're going to start this West End theater group. So you had to find location, you had to find costumes, actors.
Yeah, I had started West End while I was at Chrysler, okay, because I was at Willow Way, and then I started West End after when Willow Way closed. I was doing West End and Chrysler. But we had to find a place to rehearse. We had to find a place. We rented places. I was from Ferndale, Michigan, which is a pretty liberal city, and there was a lot of theater there, and so it wasn't hard getting the actors. So, if anything, we had too many actors.
Everybody wants to be a star.
Everybody wants to be a star. Yeah.
Right. Okay, so 2018. So you have all this history, right? You're 20 years in this theater and doing Patsy Cline and all of these great shows, and then you decide to leave it all.
Yeah.
Like, what motivated that?
Well, my friend Linda Pickley, the one that said, life is more than Broadway plays and vodka and tonics. Okay, she was my Patsy Cline in the Patsy Cline thing. I was a fan of hers, and she was Patsy Cline. And she is my absolute best friend. And when she said that her daughter and her daughter-in-law lived in South Carolina, they were transferred from New York. And so Linda says, I'm going to go to the tiny house community and buy a house. You guys can either go with me or not. So, because she knew we would follow her. She was kind of like nuts that way. So we all did. We all just gave up everything. And I basically was on the top of the world there, but
It
it
sounds
was
like.
my friends are so much more important to me. I love friends, and I can't do it without friends. My friends are my family.
Yeah. Yeah.
Being gay my whole life, I never had a family. Okay, and
Hmm.
I wasn't able to adopt kids or have a family or whatever. So my friends are my family. I hope my
Yeah.
family isn't listening right now. So
You love them too.
yes, I do love them too. But when we came down here, it was important that the four of us stayed together so we can help each other out as we get older. And that was a real comforting feel to me.
Hmm.
I was scary, but I had to find out what was going on. So the first thing I did in Detroit was look for a Democratic issue that was going on in South Carolina. Well, South Carolina,
We have a few.
there's a couple, yeah. And I wanted to work on a campaign because I like working on political campaigns. So I found that Judy Buckley was running for office. So I contacted her and I said, "Can I work on your campaign?" And she said, "Yeah." So, like the week after I got here, I went to a fundraising party where she was at, and I met all the people that I'm with right still today. That we're the activists of Greenville. We protest every Tuesday. We party. We do this. We do that. We think we're going to change South Carolina.
You just might,
We might, yeah. We're out
you
there protesting,
might.
and we do our thing. So anyway, so that's why I got here was because of Linda, and I have Denise and Sandy. There's four of us down here, and and we do take care of each other. I had a hatchet thrown at me about 8 months ago, saying that I got macular, and which stopped me from driving, stopped me from reading, and stopped me for facial recognition. So,
Oh no.
hello. I mean, but you know what you
Wow.
do? You get assistance, and when I directed the show and when I teach now, I have assistants to help me read, and everyone here drives me wherever I want to go. So that's why we came down here to help each other out.
To help each other out.
Yeah.
And you have not slowed down even with
Uh,
that information.
no, with that information almost made me stronger. At first it was horrible. It was like the worst thing that could ever happen to me. But now it's like I'll ask them. I say, can they assist me do this or assist me in doing this? And it works. Everyone's so excited. I met the best people. At Ollie, if it wasn't for Gail and Mary, my two assistants there, I couldn't be doing what I'm doing.
Hmm.
And so it makes you weaker yet stronger in the long run, you know.
So I'm curious, Francine, like asking for help is not easy
Mm-mm.
for most of us. And for someone like you who was already seeing herself as very strong, what was
Yeah.
that like?
It was awful. I would say the first couple months was awful. I just sat and cried, you
I
know.
bet.
And then I went, this is stupid. Just get out there and keep doing, I can see, but I just can't read. So if
Mm.
you can't read and you're in theater, it's like, okay. But my assistants help me. And I'll stay at home and I'll get a magnifying glass and I'll block a whole scene and then take it to rehearsal. So there's ways of doing it. So I'm not gonna say it's good. I wish I didn't have this, but it's made me stronger and appreciate it. It could be worse. I could have my head chopped off.
Yeah, kind of hard to act without a head. So you came down, you found Ollie, you found the Democratic Party. Were you involved in the party politics in Detroit?
Oh yes,
Okay.
I was basically city politics. I was on the DDA, the Downtown Development Authority, and I worked a lot for city council campaigns and stuff like that. So I was mostly a city political person. Then when I came down here, it went to the whole state thing, and I love it. It's it's so energetic. Greenville, I love Greenville. I didn't think I would love it this much, and it's just
It
growing so
is.
much. Every time you go down there's a new hotel, and
I know.
the theater is beautiful here.
Lots of
There's so
theater.
much theater here, and so I was scared to make this move down here, but now I'm just really excited. Every day is an excitement here.
Isn't that wonderful? So
Yeah,
tell me about tiny homes. Like you could have moved down to a bigger house like you were used to living in or a
yeah.
condo or something. Why a tiny home?
Again, it was the attraction and the cuteness of a tiny home. Okay, we
Uh-huh.
we used to see it on HGTV all the time. And like I said, my friend Linda, who runs all the shots around here, she said we have to get to a tiny home, and I said, well, okay, and I love it. Everything's on the first floor. My washer and dryer's right here. The bedroom's right there. The kitchen's there, and we have a loft. So it's perfect for me because I never really was a homebody anyway.
What about downsizing? I mean, you must have had a lot of theater
Oh my
stuff.
God, I watched my stage be thrown in a dumpster because I had a whole stage that we had to make for Patsy Cline. The lights that I had, all my posters, it was like you have a garage sale, but what doesn't go, you just get two guys in a dumpster, and they come over and they just put everything in, and it was like, wow,
Wow.
I hope this move is gonna make it.
I know, right? Because there you are shedding parts of your life.
Yeah.
But it also probably gave you a sense of freedom in a way.
Oh, it did. You don't have you know, I've been in Detroit my whole life, and you and doing things there. You just leave everything, then you can pick on what you can go back and talk about or do. I'll fly back to Detroit if I have to and see the people that I want to see. But it is a real sense of freedom. You're not carrying much baggage with you at all, and the tiny house community is so great. I mean, everyone here is basically trans from someplace else, transit, and or they're alone. They don't have a family here, and everyone here, it's like being in the theater. I think you find
Really?
everyone here is what a community, and
Yeah.
so I,
So
I I could not ask for a better life right now.
it sounds like a perfect transition point then
What
to
to me it
move,
was, yeah.
right? Because I mean, we talk so much about it's difficult to find community, neighborhoods. People don't really know their neighbors
Right.
anymore, but it sounds like in the tiny home community, you all know each other and support each other.
We all know each other, support each other, and everyone's from different backgrounds, and everyone accepts everyone. Um, I would walk around with my bow tie the first week, and everyone said, "What is that?"
And your black
And
cat.
my black hat, it's like, well, this is the way I dress, so just accept me, and everyone does. And I love all my neighbors. If something happens here, like we just had a death in the neighborhood, and it,
Hmm.
it, it was real sad, but it brought everyone together, not that we needed a death for everyone to get together, but it was just the sense of community here is just top drawer.
Well, and I saw some Facebook pictures. The snowstorm brought you all together too.
Yeah.
Our South Carolina snowstorm.
We built snowmans. We had the Winter Olympics. We did it all. Sled toboggan, homemade sleds out of bird bag seeds.
Oh gosh. So tell me about the Ollie Theater, the performances that you hope to do and what you're teaching in your classes.
Okay, when I first got here, I was on the demonstration line. Every Tuesday, we meet downtown in front of Lindsey Graham's office to demonstrate. Nice place to go. But Ron Cowan, who is a friend of mine, said, why don't you go to Ollie? And I said, what's Ollie? And he said, it's a branch of Furman, and it's the lifelong training there. Um, so I called Ollie and I asked if I could teach theater there. And so I sent my resume in and a video of what we did at OPC in Rochester, and they just loved it. They could not wait because they didn't really have any performing arts classes there.
Really?
Yeah, so it was the only one there. So we started that, and I got a group of people that joined that class, and I'm still with them. They come
Really?
every year. They're in the show. So then we just decided to And this Gail and Mary that I'm talking about, I went to them and I said, let's get a theater company here going, call it the Alley Players. And we did. And we did Plaza Suite, but then the pandemic hit.
Hmm.
And it was like, okay, so then we Zoomed our rehearsals and Zoomed everything. And it took us about a year and a half to put that.
I cannot imagine trying to do that over Zoom.
It was awful. And then we met in someone's garage. Everything was like so antiquated on how we were going to do this. And then we couldn't find a place to do it. So they set up a classroom, and I told everyone when they came to see the show, this looks like a classroom to you, but to us, it's Carnegie Hall. And it really was Carnegie Hall to us.
Love that.
We were doing this, and I got the best actors, and we're going to be doing Prisoner on Second Avenue, and where we're hoping for June, but we have to work with Furman on what they can give us, and we're still dealing with the pandemic, and who knows, because it really is hard with the classes. We have to have masks. And,
in the class.
In the class, yeah. And when you take the mask off, there's someone there, put the mask back on. So we don't want to be the troublemaking actors that, don't wear their mask. But it's really hard to act with the mask on. So, but we do it. It makes you project more. But with the classes, we work with monologues and work with scenes. And we have about 16 people, which is 10 people too many. But, because it's really hard to have a lot of people and then give them each individual time.
Yeah.
But with Gail, my Gail board Rain board, I'm sorry, Gail, if you're watching that. I'm not sure about your two last names. But she's my assistant in this. And the two of us got along right off the bat. She looks exactly like Sandra Dee. So I call her Sandra Dee all the time. And she's assisting me in my classes. And we have a ball. And now we're just trying to get in for Prisoner on Second Avenue. So we don't know if we're going to be teaching in the spring and the summer, or are we going to be putting on this play.
So in an acting class, with your 16 people, do you start out with teaching them how to breathe so that they can project? Do you,
you start with all the warm-ups, the body warm-ups, okay? Because you stress that your body is your instrument. Like when you learn to play a trumpet or a violin or a piano or something, you're learning that instrument. Your body is your instrument. And if you just keep drilling that in, they understand that, the importance of improv, the importance of making your body just totally ready to do whatever you need to do, and projection. So we start out with concentration games and then focus games, a lot of focus games. And then we break them into scenes and monologues.
Sounds like fun. Maybe I'll have to try it sometime. I used to want to be a star.
Well, we had an auditor sit in our class the other day. She said, "Can I sit in your class?" And we said, "Yeah." And we forgot she was there. So she went, and then she wrote us a letter and just said it was the best day she ever had in her life. I mean,
wow.
I don't know how shallow her life is, but but it was just. She said, "Furman and Ollie needs more of this, where you can just sit and laugh and be yourself and create." And the safe environment is what we always create, the safe environment. And our motto is, we love us.
We love it.
We love us.
We love us.
Yeah, so we can be extremely narcissistic. And
there you go. No, you got to love yourself first. That's what, right? Ollie stands for Osher Lifelong Learning Institute.
Right.
It's a national organization. They have them in lots of colleges around the country.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
what a great thing. If people don't know about it, they have to go online and get a brochure, and see what it's all about. And it's just wonderful.
Yeah, I can't wait to see your show.
Okay.
So I'm curious though, right? Here you are, like you said, lesbian, involved in politics, And yet you were also involved in pageants,
Yeah.
which in my mind seems like doesn't fit that. So tell me about this pageant involvement.
Okay. The pageant, I'm going to go back to my friend Linda Piccoli.
Okay, good. Linda, you're going to have Linda on.
Yeah. You know, the vodka and tonic Broadway show person. Anyway, they asked her, we were doing a show, and they asked Linda if she wanted to direct the Miss Senior Michigan pageant. Linda goes, no, I hate doing that. So I said, I'll do it. So I had to go audition and stuff like that. But I loved it. It was so regimented. Okay. It was, you with a pageant, you have the entertainment's got to be 2 minutes and 45 seconds. The opening number's got to be big and it's got to involve everyone. The philosophy of life can only be 45 seconds, you know, so everything, you know, and if something goes off, the loser will make you pay for it, you know. But I really love doing the pageant. I started directing the pageant right after my mom died. And I just saw that the people there reminded me of my mother, you know. So I had this passion towards all these people. And it worked out. I did it for like 18 years or whatever. I think you said 14, but I think it was 18. And we just had fun with it, you know. And the pageant is women that are over 60 and most of them are all professionals, and they come in with some sort of a talent. And then if they win the Miss Senior Michigan, then we send them to Miss Senior America, which is in Atlantic City. And I've been to a couple of those, but it's a whole different world, the pageant world.
You know, I've only seen movies about it, and it seems like it's a very different world.
It is. You don't get too close to the people, okay? Because I hate to say it, but everyone wants, if they lose, they have to have a reason why they lost, okay? And there's only going to be one winner. So the other 15 are looking at the director. She favored this one, you know. So, but no, I enjoyed it a lot. It was different from putting on a show, because a show, you create the whole thing. You know, with the pageant, it's strictly by rote.
So you're not judging the pageant. No. You're just saying who goes where, when, what the lighting is, all of that kind of thing.
Right. All the music involved in it. If they have, they don't have the bathing suit thing. They have a evening gown, and so you have to pick out the music for them to walk to. You have to pick the opening number. Every contestant has a big sister, they call it, so you got to pick the big sisters, and there's like about 4 or 5 numbers in the show that you do the sister presentation, which is something, you know. So it's fun because every year it's basically the same thing, but with different people. So you don't have to sit at the drawing board and create this show, because it's already created for you.
And was that the same when you did the Miss South Carolina senior?
Yeah.
It was the same format?
Right, because the woman that won Miss Senior Michigan, Linda Cisco, moved to South Carolina, and then she wanted to run for Miss South Carolina, and she called me. She said, "Will you come and direct the show?" And I said, "Sure." So I went to Myrtle Beach and I directed it, and so now she's in Florida, and we're all going to meet at the in Hershey, Pennsylvania this year is the Miss Senior America thing. So we're all meeting there as like a reunion, whatever. But
fun. Do you think you would do it again?
Yeah. I think I would. I love directing. I love not so much being in charge, because that makes me a control person, but I'm not. I love theater people. And we just have to, it's so important to have a good time and show your passion towards your art, and not compete at all. And I think that was the thing that I carried on through my whole life. I never competed with anyone. I just couldn't wait to just work with them.
Yeah.
So there's a difference there. And I think anyone who has worked with me knows that I don't compete. You know, let's just have a laugh and let's go for it, you know.
I can tell working with you would be a hoot. It would be a lot of fun.
Well, we do have fun.
And you'd probably get a good performance out of everybody that works with you too.
We do. Yeah.
Yeah. Great. So I've been encouraging people that listen to Hey Boomer to come up with like a word for the year. And this is kind of a touchstone, something that we strive for. Like my 2 words are accepting and mastery, right?
Yep.
So
Okay.
we're not always picking 2, but in this case we did. So I'm just curious. I mean, you have so many things that are driving you forward right now. Can you share a word that might be a guiding word for you this year?
Well, for some reason I knew you were going to ask that question. But I had 3 words, which was make your bed, meaning get up in the morning and do something and just let that springboard to something else, call a relative that you haven't called for a long time, just get something done. And then it makes you feel good and you go to the next thing. So, but as you were asking it just now, I changed my mind.
Oh, I like make your bed though. That's a good one too.
That's great. Yeah, that is good. It's a book. But I would say the biggest thing in my life are friends. Friends are so important to me, and that's what gets me going every day. And the camaraderie that people have. Sometimes it makes me too sentimental and too sucky, but that's the way it is. So friends, make your bed and friends, but don't make your bed with your friends. Okay.
Oh,
well, whatever. Okay.
Friends. Yeah. So friends are a good guidepost. And friends, like you said in the beginning, friends, you want to grow old together. They support you. They're there for you, even when nobody else might be.
Absolutely. They're like your little animals that you have at home. They like you when no one else likes you.
Francine, you are inspiring. You have courage. You have this fortitude about you. You are funny. Yeah, this has really been great. As you know, Hey Boomer is about inspiring people in this next act of our lives to live as fully as we can, to stay involved, to feel a sense of purpose or make a difference. So I'm wondering, based on your life experiences, are there 2 or 3 takeaways you'd like to leave with the audience?
Oh boy. Yeah. Keep doing what you love. It sounds like a bumper sticker, but if you keep doing what you love, your life will be so fulfilled. There's so many times I just wanted to give up and not do what I love, but because it's easy to just retire and sit around and watch, CNN or do whatever. But just if you have a passion about something, just do it, and you're going to find your audience. They're going to come at you, and that's a takeaway.
Keep doing what you love.
Yeah.
You all have heard it now from Francine. No, it's absolutely true. And a lot of us put what we love on hold while we're working our other life. And now is your time. Do what you love.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. Love that. Thank you.
No matter what's thrown at you, just keep doing it.
Yeah, absolutely. I want to let people know how they can get in touch with you, Francine. So if they have questions about Ollie or the Democratic Party or tiny homes or anything like that, don't overwhelm her though. But you can email her at F like Frank, J like John, Hachem, HACHEM at AOL.com. Yes. AOL does still handle email. So FJ Hatcham at AOL.com. I know. I didn't believe it when I saw it either.
Yeah, I like it so much, Wendy.
I know. So fun. All right. So let me tell you who's coming up next week. Her name is Talik Nantes. And Talik has traveled to over 120 countries in her work in international business development. So what do you do when you stop doing international business development? you start a travel company.
Okay. Of course.
So she now leads a group of women over 50 who love to travel, and she's given tours to Cuba, northern Spain, and China. And although COVID has shut her down, she is looking forward to being able to bring people back on the road. And she does a very immersive experience. So you get into the native culture from where you're going. So it should be a very interesting show. I am also really excited about this 6-week group coaching program about transitioning that I am starting. It starts February 22nd. It's going to be an awesome program, and you'll have peers in there, and we're going to be able to support each other, as Francine talked about, how important that support and friendship is. But we're also going to look back at what is it that you've left behind that you want to bring forward now? What are some of the things that might be holding you back? How are you going to, recreate yourself in a way that's really meaningful? And it's not like that big capital P purpose. It's just what gives you a sense of meaning and feeling good about yourself. So that starts February 22nd. And if you want more information about that or about the Facebook group, you can also email me at wendy@heyboomer.biz. Or you can look at our website at heyboomer.biz. So thanks, Francine. I'm getting so many comments about how wonderful this show is. People are really enjoying it.
Okay. Wendy, I want to thank you for the opportunity. I know I was apprehensive at the beginning. I came all dressed for the interview at the coffee shop, remember?
You did?
This isn't how this works. But I want to thank you for the opportunity. It's nice to talk about yourself and bring it back home to what exactly you're about. So I do want to thank you.
Well, and I want to thank you. Your words of joy and excitement really did come through in this, and we need that. We need to hear that. And so I appreciate you, and I'm going to go make my bed.
Okay, go make your bed. Yeah.
But I thank you all for tuning in today. I know everybody's busy, and being part of the Hey Boomer community is such a joy for all of us. So I hope you come back. And I'd like to remind people at the end of every show, you are never too old to set another goal or dream a new dream. My name is Wendy Green, and this has been Hey Boomer.